Elon Musk, what he learned in Washington with his time there, he breaks it down. Paul Barron says only way out is digital assets. We're going to play the clip. We also have some new information coming to light about connections, of course, Ripple, new partnerships, new information, new digitization, and all kinds of other Ripple and XRP news and updates. Let's go ahead and play this clip first.
You're in Palo Alto and not Washington, D.C.
I'm at Tesla Global Engineering Headquarters in Palo Alto.
Yeah. So no more Washington, D.C. You're back at work. You're focused. Yeah?
Yeah, I haven't been to D.C. since May.
Okay.
That was a hell of a side quest.
That was a good side. Any lessons from your time in Washington, D.C.?
The government is basically unfixable.
Elon, only
I applaud David's noble efforts in this. It's good to have talented people in the administration. But at the end of the day, if you look at our national debt, which is insanely high, the interest payments exceed the Defense Department. War Department budget, and they keep rising. So if AI and robots don't solve our national debt, we're toast.
AI and robots. The only problem is, what is everybody else going to do, right? There is numbers that regular people, 25 to 30% of regular people could be losing their jobs to AI and robotics over the next few years. What happens to all of those people? That's a deeper conversation that I hope there's some really smart people in a room somewhere figuring that out, because I don't even want to know what that could look like and how dark that could very well get. I did want to take a look at some information here. How long can the US keep kicking the can down the road? As you heard, that we are paying right now more in interest on the debt, which is about $1 trillion a year. We take in about $5 trillion in the US a year in taxes, and we're paying $1 trillion of that. So 20% of that is going out to just pay interest. So if that keeps compounding, sooner or later, we're not going to be able to kick this can down the road. And so I wanted to gather more information about this. And here is that research. The US can likely continue kicking the can down the road for about 20 more years under the current fiscal conditions before reaching an unsustainable debt situation. If countries stop buying US debt, the resulting consequences would be severe, including higher interest rates, inflation, recession, and major disruptions to the global financial system. How long can the delay continue? Projections suggest that financial markets can tolerate ongoing US deficits for about 2 more decades. The estimate assumes that markets expect future corrective fiscal action like spending cuts or tax increases. We've actually haven't done either one of these things. We actually gave a huge tax, credit or whatever it is, trillions of dollars over the next 10 years this is going to cost. So we're actually going the wrong way. We're not cutting, we're spending more. We're spending more in 2025 than we spent in 2024. Don't have to believe me, that's the facts. If faith erodes, the debt crisis could arrive much sooner. So if all of these countries that are used to buying our debt, which are treasury bills, say, we're not interested in doing this is a house of cards, and the crypto market cannot buy all US debt, there's going to be an issue, and that's what we're about to see. Unsustainable US debt means eventually no policy, be it tax hikes or spending cuts, can avoid either a technical default or a large-scale debt monetization resolution as high inflation comes. What happens if foreign demand collapses? Higher interest rates, recession risk, inflation pressure, dollar weakness, market volatility, and fiscal crisis. I also wanted to say, how could blockchain, the XRP Ledger, and Ripple, the company, help the US out of its debt problem? Blockchain platforms like the XRP Ledger and Ripple, the company, can help the US address its debt problem through the tokenization of debt instruments, enhanced financial transparency, and more efficient debt settlement mechanisms. XRPL debt tokenization and settlement, the XRP Ledger, is now actively used for debt tokenization, meaning traditional government bonds and debt can be digitized and settled on blockchain. You look at Open Eden, you look at the connection between BlackRock, Ondo, and Ripple with OUSG. That is what we're talking about here. The World Economic Forum has recognized XRPL's role in transforming financial markets, especially by improving liquidity, transparency, and real-time settlement of debt obligations. Tokenization allows for fractional ownership, greater market access, and secondary trading, which can attract new investors at lower financial costs to the government. Ripple Company, blockchain integration, and public finance. Ripple has introduced lending and settlement protocols in the XRP Ledger aimed at automating and streamlining the management of debt and payments, potentially reducing inefficiencies that add to national debt burdens. The US Treasury has already approved XRP for settling portions of the national debt, signaling a shift towards digital assets and more agile, cost-effective payment rails. Ripple's technology can support broader public sector adoption by ensuring faster, more secure, quicker and cheaper transactions in debt management and public payments. And talks about theoretical impacts of US debt. Using blockchain for federal debt means payments and settlements can occur with less friction, speeding up cycles and reducing the cost. A tokenized debt infrastructure offers transparency, efficient tracking, and easier market access, potentially lowering borrowing costs and improving risk management in the US government. These steps could create new avenues for both domestic and international investors to participate in US debt markets. That's what we're seeing through Ondo and other partnerships. Also here, we talk about the stock market, the NASDAQ moving to tokenization of those assets. And who settles the NASDAQ? Well, it's the DTCC, right? And so I did show you all of this research. These are the serious adults in the room. It's Ava Labs, it's Cardano, it's Clearstream, DTCC, Euroclear, GBBC, Hedera Foundation, Oliver Wyman, and Ripple. Observer, the World Bank. This is who is serious about reshaping the world of finance. I would imagine that these companies are going to be extremely successful in the days to come. All right, here is the clip. Banks plus blockchains, stablecoins. This is from Crypto Eerie. Lightbulb moment for ANZ Bank. Atomic settlement. Today, ANZ slashed 3,500 jobs. One of the reasons they can is digital efficiency. Is that good that they slashed the jobs?
I think the aha moment, the light bulb moment, if you like, was when we saw and proved that we could actually achieve atomic settlement between two assets.
Serves over 8.5 million customers across 30 markets, operating in Australia's big four banks. Realizing the significance of blockchain.
Now, we tokenized Australian dollars and used that to settle a transaction on exchange. But it wasn't until we had tokenized our carbon credit inventory and then subsequently used our Australian dollar stablecoin to settle a transaction atomically, instantaneously, that we revealed that it was true, it could be done. And the implications for asset market settlement, asset market security and speed and cost were proven. And that was really where we got very excited about the future of blockchain technology.
All right. And just to give you some additional context here, ANZ has partnered with Ripple for exploring blockchain-based solutions and atomic settlement, but the integration preliminary focuses on tokenization, stablecoins, and digital asset efficiency rather than direct usage of XRP settlement. ANZ developed and launched its own Australian dollar stablecoin, the $ADC, pretty cool, leveraging Ethereum-compatible smart contracts and interoperability protocols, Chainlink, for seamless atomic settlement and improved cross-chain transfers. ANZ's use of Ripple and blockchain. ANZ was one among the first Australian banks to conduct pilots trials using Ripple's technology for faster and lower costs across borders. However, most ANZ's blockchain integration has been focused on stablecoin payments and smart contracts, not exclusively XRP. Their approach centers on increased automation and digital efficiency using tokenization to enable instant settlement and assets and reduce operational overhead. This enabled processes like the recent atomic settlement of their $ADC stablecoin. And it does talk about, is XRP directly involved? While RippleNet integration opens up the ability for banks to use XRP as a bridge currency via on-demand liquidity, the bulk of ANZ's current activity utilizes stablecoins and tokenized assets that run on public blockchains, most notably Ethereum. So just giving you that additional context there. Digital Asset Investor posted this. We are here. Tech enthusiast side, investors 2.5. Imagine what happens when we're here early majority or late majority. I mean, this is really what's going to come here over the next few months. It's going to be awesome. And then you also have 2025 World Economic Forum agenda reveals partnerships within Ripple and Hedera. So here is in partnership with, here's Pat Thielen from Ripple, and you have some people here from the Filecoin Foundation, as well as some other groups. You also have Hedera on here as well. Eric Pashini from Hedera will be there, and some of these other companies. You got Ripple, Hedera, Ava Labs. Interesting, right? Ripple, Hedera, Ava Labs. You're starting to see this more and more. Start to take notice. Filecoin's on here, Coinbase is on here, Polymesh is on here. Love to see that. Jungle Inc. says crypto morning brief. Look, 100 million in daily volume powered by XRP gas and the XRPL EVM sidechain. That's just the bridging activity to yield-bearing stablecoin protocols. Run the numbers. The global financial sector is massive and XRP gas is positioned right at the center. I did want to show you this. Clarity Act in the Senate. The bill must receive, so Clarity Act is crypto regulation here in America. The bill must receive 60 votes to pass, which means it's definitely dependent on enough Democrats signing on. Now, we've seen this in the last election when Democrats went against the crypto industry. When you have 60 million Americans that believe in this industry, that own cryptocurrency, that it is very important to them. People often vote with their wallet. Sometimes they vote with their crypto wallet. So this is the opportunity to bridge the gap, to come over, vote yes with Republicans and get regulation for Americans, because this is what we want. And I'd imagine the people that are going to stand up and fight this, some of those might have a troubling midterm coming forward. So let's learn about the technology, how it can benefit our country, and let's get the job done. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Thank you you for being here, Crypto Sensei. Aloha.
Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.